I want to say that, and communicate today, first and foremost, the idea that study, learning, the intellectual tradition plays a special role in the Dominican order and in Dominican life. That's part of what I like to hope to communicate today. One way to go at this is to compare us with the Benedictines. You know, the great motto of the Benedictines is ora et labora, pray and work. And it's often pointed out that St. Dominic substituted study and contemplation for work. And so instead of pray and work, it's pray and study is the theme of Dominican life. And what that means is that study and contemplation, study of the truth, is a part of every Dominican's life in this intrinsic way. St. Dominic was quite conscious of what he was doing there, that instead of pray and work, it's pray and study. And the other great motto, or slogan of the order, comes from St. Thomas Aquinas, from the Summa Theologiae, the second part of the second part, where he says that our goal is to contemplate and to share with others what's contemplated, often translated the fruits of contemplation. So this our job is to contemplate and to share with others the fruits of contemplation. Now, when we look at that motto for the order, and think about the old Benedictine one of prayer and work, it would seem like, well, to contemplate is kind of lining up with prayer, and to share the fruits of what's contemplated, lining up with what used to be work. That's our ministry. That's our action, to go out and share it. But the parallels aren't exactly alike, because what St. Dominic did was from prayer and work, he said prayer and study over here, and contemplation is study. So the point of comparing those two sayings, from pray and study versus pray and work, pray and study, contemplate and share the fruits of contemplation, is just to suggest that the lines kind of cross like this. And that suggests that the life of study and the life of learning is somehow, in a Dominican's life, to be fully integrated. And that includes fully integrated into one's prayer, the prayer we share, and the prayer that's so personal between a friar and God, and also the ministries, the apostolates of the order in the life. I want to close with a quotation I really love from Yves Congar, who was a great Dominican theologian in the 20th century. He was made a cardinal. There was a time when he was silenced by the church, and he ended up being one of the heroes of the church. He was made a cardinal by Pope John Paul II. And this was sent to me as a little holy card by one of our Dominicans, Albino Barrera, who's teaching up at Providence College. Albino went to Yale, got his PhD in economics, and he's a model of just commitment. He is really committed to study and to learning. He writes books, and it's just quiet and goes about doing it and goes in action. But he once sent me a little card that had this quotation from Yves Congar on it, and I've always kept it. And I found it for this talk. I keep it in my room, in my office here. I look at it from time to time. And Congar wrote this: "The order of preachers is dedicated to the service of the gospel, especially under the aspect of truth. I've loved it and still love it in the way one loves a person." I think many of us would say, if we've liked school at all, whether it's, maybe we all have our glory days. Some people have their glory days in high school. Some people peak in grade school, I guess. It can happen anywhere. College is a great time of life for some people. Graduate school often is, it varies depending on one's own experience. But at some point, there's this great experience for all of us who have to, do go to school, of where it works. And part of where the learning works, it's hard work. It ought to be. But you're with a lot of other people who share the same interests and, and doing the same thing, whatever it is you're learning, whatever field. And so that, so it's the friendship that develops in learning that, that really, that makes it, again, that's what we talk about years later. Remember we were back at you get together with for friends at reunions, stay in touch with people. And what Congar is talking about when he's talking about serving the gospel under the aspect of truth, and to being able to love it, the order, and to love it as you would a person. An order as an institution, or even as a collection of persons, isn't a person. We love, to love as you love a person that's the human thing, it's the divine thing. And we talk about loving institutions, loving country, that's all analogous to love as a person. And I do think that Congar, when he says, I've loved the order, the way you love a person, he isn't just talking about the fact that he's joined this group where we share this love of study. And, kind of the way I went to school and we were learning the same thing and we loved it and we actually felt we were getting somewhere and being set up for life to go out and do something. It isn't just that. It's the fact that Dominicans are to be bound to study and contemplation, whatever they do, whatever their level of intellectual gifts, so that we become, if you will, together one person for this, as Dominicans. And there's something about it that one can love, the way you love a person, and it binds us together. So I think the notion of contemplation that I've tried to share, the notion of study, which transcends an individual study, this, that, or the other thing, is part of what makes that possible. And to the extent to which we live that out, we will be doing what St. Dominic wants of us in the order, in this province. We'll be doing God's will in the world.